Have a seat, today's tea is bitter, but still sweeter than the price the villain in this story is about to pay. May's red ledger has just turned to a new page. Are you ready to claim justice with Reddit? Revenge Tales. On my birthday of all days, he said there was someone else. The candles smoked. The house went silent. After 27 years, the rug wasn't pulled. It vanished. Since then, lawyers' passwords paper trails, keeping the lights on while pretending I'm fine for a 16-year-old studying SATs, online breadcrumbing, ghosting, love-bombing men, asking, nice. When can we meet? Never. So tell me, women 50 plus, do we chase true love again, or choose true self first? Because I'll take peace over drama green flags, over pretty words, and a walk and talk in daylight, over late-night promises. If being single is happiness, I'll claim it. If love returns, it meets my non-negotiables, or it doesn't come in. I'm Maggie Carter, 52, tucked on a quiet cul-de-sac just outside Minneapolis. I work part-time in operations at a local company, the kind of job that keeps a calendar full, and the lights paid. I have 4 kids, 3 grown and flown, and my youngest 16 still under this roof, with SAT cards spread like fallen leaves. The morning after the birthday that broke in half, the coffee maker clicks on, and the kitchen smells like smoke and sugar. I stack bills, then stack my breath. I sweep candle wax off the counter with the side of my hand. I press my palm to the refrigerator door, till the cold steadies me. I call my mother and get her soft baby breathe, then hang up before I cry. I love a good plan. I start one. New passwords. A list titled Shelter. Another titled Boundaries. I take the cake I couldn't swallow and slide it into the trash. The lid drops with a final clean sound. In my head, a single sentence gathers its spine. You will not vanish. By noon, I've circled 3 names for attorneys and taped a fresh sticky note over the old frame where our wedding photo used to sit. That yellow sticky guarding the empty frame stared me down all afternoon. By dusk, the house went quiet again. Fridge hum clock ticks my daughter upstairs with her door cracked. My mind rolls backward to last night in this same kitchen. Sugar in the air ribbons curled on the counter. He set his fork down, smoothed the napkin, and looked past me, not at me. Then the sentence that split the room. There's someone else, he said. On my birthday. Of all days. The candles were still warm. I pinched a wick and smoke lifted like a thin flag. He pushed a small gift bag across the table and said he didn't want to ruin my day. I gripped the edge of the counter and felt the seam bite my palm. I slid my chair back to make space that wasn't there. He turned his phone face down. I watched the screen go black and understood the life I knew had already powered off. Sound came back in pieces. The dishwasher beeped. The furnace kicked on. I stacked my breath and gave it orders. Oxygen mask first. Tonight I gather documents. Tomorrow I walk in carrying proof and a spine that holds. Proof and a spine. I carry both into a downtown building at 9, salt crusted on lobby mat's elevator bells sharp in the cold. 9th floor glass table, a river cut with ice beyond the window. Ms. Reyes shakes my hand and says to start from the beginning. I slide the folder across and unlock my phone. 42 PDFs open on her screen. She reads taps once, then lays out the plan temporary orders, separate utilities, full disclosures, low contact only. My phone lights with his name. I leave it face down. We draft a 1-sentence reply for future Noisefax, only no heat. I sign the retainer. I initial the motion. The pen scratches like a match. We file while I watch the bar crawl. Sent. She asks if I feel safe at home. I say yes, and mean a neighbor on speed dial and a deadbolt that clicks. In the elevator, I write it and read it out loud. My phone is not a leash. It obeys me now. I tuck the folder under my arm like it belongs to me, and step into air that stings awake. That sentence rides shotgun up 35W, with road salt popping under the tires. In my garage at Three Pale Sun on the washer lid, I set my bag on the bench, and my phone on the counter, face up. Settings first. I kill location sharing, new Apple ID, new passcode. I rename the family thread with dates only, and pin a short script above it. Pickups are Saturday at 3. Emergencies call the school. He texts, "Where are you?" I send that one line, and nothing else. He calls. I let it ring out and slide him into do not disturb. From the junk drawer, I pull his spare key wallet across the driveway and drop it in Mrs. Jensen's lockbox. Back at the table, I draft 3 rules and tape them inside a cabinet. Keep messages short. Keep records clean. Keep peace non-negotiable. Dusk tips across the porch. The doorbell camera pings. I watch, breathe, do nothing. No contact tonight. Kettle on. Mint steam rises. Upstairs, my daughter laughs about practice, bright as coins in a jar. I sit on the stairs and listen, and plan how to keep that sound safe. The mint on my tongue and my daughter's laugh do not leave. They ride with me into morning. In the school lot at 7:30, frost on the windshield edge, she sits beside me with SAT cards, elastic banded, and a granola wrapper crinkling. Heater on low traffic inching past the football field. We build a week on paper. Library hours in blue ink. Practice in green. Pickups in black. She jokes about college tours, and I hold the joke like a fragile cup. Inside the building, the bell spits one short note and swallows her up. I park by the curb and text her 3 words, "Proud of you." At the registrar window, I pay the activity fee and smile like money is not tight. Back home, kitchen lights soft, I tape a family calendar to the fridge and add 2 phones to her favorites, mine and Grandma's. Then show her the emergency bypass setting and ask her to practice. I slide a 20 into her backpack with a sticky note that says snacks. When my screen blinks with a number, I know I put the phone in the drawer and close it. The wood clicks. I choose the sound. That small click earlier grows teeth by noon. At the dining table, Wednesday light on the maple surface, I spread a stack of envelopes and a printout of last month's statements. Outside, a snowplow scrapes the cul-de-sac. My phone pings. "Where are you?" Another ping. "You forgot to confirm the transfer." I open a fresh page in a small ledger and title it, "Received." Every payment gets a date, time, and amount. I snap a photo of the entry and email it to myself with the subject proof, then forward the thread to Ms. Reyes. He calls from a second number. I let it ring until the voicemail catches, and then I block the new contact. I move the transcript into a folder named Paper Trail, and I say it out loud so it sticks. Paper Trail. Across the street, a neighbor waves, and I wave back with the same steady hand I used to set autopay for the power bill. 3 bills go green. 1 sits yellow. I mark it overdue and breathe through the pinch. When a friend texts, "How's today, Mags?" I answer with 1 word working, and then add coffee later. I want a table with women who keep receipts and tell the truth. I wanted a table with women who keep receipts and tell the truth. I find it by late afternoon. At the community library on 50th Street, Tuesday at 4, I sit with Nancy and 2 others. In a bright basement room, our coats steaming dry by a heater and paperbacks stacked like bricks. We pass cheap coffee and a bowl of peppermint. Nancy asks for 3 wins this week and no hedging. I say out loud that I blocked a number and set autopay my voice thin. At first, then steady. Lorna slides a small notebook toward me, a page labeled Green Flags. We trade red flags like baseball cards, and laugh in a way that loosens something low in my ribs. When I mention the birthday sentence, they do not rush to fix it. They hold the silence until it stops feeling like a cliff. I write one line on Lorna's page and underline it twice, consistency. Before we leave, Nancy squeezes my hand and says, "Keep your circles small and your records clean." I nod, and I mean it. In the parking lot, I toss a lingering pity text into drafts, then stop myself mid-tap. I lock the screen and pocket the phone without sending a single word. Nancy's hand is still a warm echo in my palm when morning comes. In a brick office near the river at 10, with a woven rug under my boots, and a clock that ticks like a metronome, I sit across from Ms. Lauren. We breathe through 4s and 7s and 8s, until my shoulders go quiet. She asks for the story once, not 10 times. I give it to her plain. She draws a line that loops and dips and says, "Healing is not straight," then flips the pad and asks me to write a letter I won't send. I put his name at the top, write 3 sentences, and feel the old urge to justify rise like a rash. I stop. I fold the page in half, then in half again, and slide it into a manila folder, stamped "Not Sending." My phone buzzes where it sits in my tote. I dig for it open messages, and there it is, the midnight draft I wrote to soothe a ghost. I hold my breath and press delete. Trash. Gone. Ms. Lauren nods. She asks what I want tonight. I say a walk at sunset and notifications off by 9. She smiles and says put it on the calendar like rent. Deleting that midnight draft left a clean space in my chest, and I carry it to the living room by evening. Minneapolis winter presses the windows. The floor vent sighs, my daughter's desk lamp glows upstairs. On the couch with a throw over my legs, I open an app and keep the profile simple, 2 clear photos a line that says, "Coffee and daylight, walk and talk real conversation." Within minutes the pings arrive. Nice. When can we meet? No name, no question, just a demand. I type 1 word, never then erase it, and choose silence. Another profile with a cropped face, 3 flags waving. I report and unmatch. A third opens with sweet thunder about soulmates and destiny by Friday. Love bombing. I close the chat mid-sentence and feel my pulse settle. I add 1 sentence to my bio that wasn't there before, quality over quantity. Someone asks for my address to drop off flowers. I set the phone down and walk to the sink for water until the urge to please dissolves. Back on the couch, I clear 3 threads, block 1 number, and keep 1 message that mentions a park and a coffee shop at noon. I leave it unread on purpose. That unread bubble stares at me through morning errands, so I take it to Caribou, on Nicolette at 10, snow melting off boots, a paper cup warming both hands. At a corner table, I open the app with the notebook beside me and write a small list titled Deal Breakers. Breadcrumbing shows up first, those tiny crumbs of attention I used to take as proof. I answer once, then close the thread, and wait. 3 hours pass. He sprinkles a hay. I hold still. Ghosting takes its turn, gone for days back like nothing happened. I do not reward it. Unmatched done. A new chat swells with pet names, perfect plans, and talk of forever before lunch. Love bombing wears good cologne. I cut the cord while my coffee is still hot. 1 man suggests late-night drinks at a place I would not send a friend. I reply daylight only, and when he pushes, I end it. Thumb press hold goodbye. The list grows vague, job, no follow-through, rude to staff, can't answer a direct question. I underline 1 line twice. Consistency, or I go. The unread bubble remains. I tap it open and type 3 words that feel like steady ground. Coffee at noon. Coffee at noon was the last line I typed, and I could feel it pulsing in my pocket. At my kitchen table at 6 Wednesday light, going thin alone, but for the dryer thumping down the hall, I spread index cards, a black Sharpie, and the small notebook from Nancy. I print a heading in tall letters, non-negotiables. Respect my time. No late-night pressure. Daylight first meetings in public places. Steady communication. Not crumbs. Honest about money. Kind to staff. Therapy friendly. I add one more that matters to my bones pace with me. My phone blinks with a number I do not save, and a line that reads pick you up after 10. I delete the thread, and block the contact without answering. Action? Not apology. I write yes lines too, so my body remembers green shows up, keeps plans, asks good questions, listens with both eyes. I snap a picture of the card and pin it to my lock screen. I fold the original and slide it into my wallet behind my driver's license. It touches everything I take out in public. I open the app and send one clear sentence to the noon bubble. Coffee. Daylight. 30 minutes. Your move. That card edges smooth under my thumb through the next morning. By Saturday in my kitchen at 9 winter sun on the sink, and my daughter sprawled upstairs reading flashcards. I set my phone in a drawer for the first hour, and let the radio play old jazz. I whisk eggs, slice a pear light, a small candle that smells like clean laundry. Budget open on the counter, I shave 10 from a line I never use, and add it to the emergency fund. I breathe easier, just seeing that number climb. I take a slow shower lotion. My arms like a promise put on real jeans. When the drawer buzzes, I pull the phone out only long enough to open settings, scroll to notifications, and hold the toggle until the app goes gray. 30 days. Quiet. I move the icon off my home screen and feel the space it leaves. I write a short line in the notebook I keep by the stove. Choose calm over chaos. I text my mother a photo of tulips from the co-op, and she sends back a heart. By afternoon, I open my email and update a resume I have not touched in years. Work might be the next steady thing. That thought about work being the next steady thing follows me into Monday. In the break room at 8 coffee machine rattling, I open my laptop at a small round table and pull up a training I saved months ago. Supply chain soft skills, the boring bones that keep a place running. I finish the last module and take the quiz with my coat still on. Pass. In my inbox, a posting waits for an operations coordinator full-time with benefits. I fix my resume, trim the fluff, and add the truth crisis management documentation. Follow through. At 11, the elevator doors kiss shut and carry me to 3. I ask my manager for 15 minutes and hand her a printed copy, the paper warm from the machine. She reads eyes moving fast, then looks up and asks if I can take on a pilot project this week to prove the fit. I say yes before the doubt gets a word in. Back at my desk, I press submit on the application and feel a small surge like blood coming back to a numb hand. At 4, her message lands, come by my office. I step in. She stands. We shake. Her grip is firm. The words land clean. Let's make this full-time, Maggie. Full-time buys time. Will it buy peace? Her handshake stays in my palm all the way to the parking lot. By evening in my kitchen with the porch light catching snowflakes, I line up 3 bills on the counter and log in. Power paid. Internet paid. The one that haunted me last week gets the last click, and a green check appears like a light switching on in my ribs. I pull a rotisserie chicken from a brown bag and set out plates. My daughter wanders in with a textbook and steals a crisp piece of skin. The fridge hums like a cat. I transfer 50 to the emergency fund and write the new number on a sticky note I tuck inside my wallet. Then I watch my girl eat and laugh, that easy teenage laugh that tells me the ground under us is holding. After dishes, I drive to the co-op and buy a bright bunch of tulips, the cheap ones near the door, and a jar of jam we never splurge on. At home, I cut the stems, drop them into a chipped vase, and set them by the sink. One more action anchors it. I write 3 words on a plain index card and tape it inside the cabinet. We are safe. The card inside my cabinet said we are safe. It steadied my hand enough to say yes at noon. By Lake Harriet. Just before 12 Sunday cold, biting my ears. I meet a man named Thomas at a cafe near the trail. He sits across from me, paper cups between us bus breaks, hissing out on the street. I text Nancy the place and time and set a 30-minute timer I can feel in my coat. Daylight makes everything honest. I keep my keys in my pocket and my seat angled toward the window. I ask real questions. What do your weekends look like? When did you last apologize? He answers, without flinching, and asks what I want. I say pace with me, and mean it. We walk the path, geese lifting off the grey water, and I match my breath to my boots. At minute 28, I tell him I am heading back. He says he would like to see me again. I say send a plan that respects the list. We shake hands. I throw my cup out and watch it drop clean into the bin. On the drive home, my phone buzzes with a new match, using the word soulmate in the second sentence. Soulmate. In the second sentence follows me into the night. In my bedroom at 9, quilt pulled high, a small lamp glowing. I scroll through a stack of messages from a man I have not met. 10 photos of sunsets, 7 pet names, plans for a weekend away by Friday. He asks for my address to send roses. He asks if I can FaceTime in the dark. My chest tightens like a fist. I set the phone down and let the lamp hum. Then I pick it up and test the pattern. I ask a simple question about work. He dodges. I ask how he handles anger. He calls me Angel. The rush is the tell. I choose action over explanation. I type daylight only public place 1 hour, and he replies with a poem and a demand. The demand is the second tell. I press block on the thread and hold the screen until it disappears. I slide the app into a folder I cannot see, and turn Do Not Disturb on for the night. In the kitchen, I drink a glass of water cold enough to sting my teeth. I check the lock and feel my shoulders drop. Tomorrow, I bring this pattern to Ms. Lauren and cut it at the root. I kept that promise to bring the pattern in and cut it at the root. In a small office near the river at 9, with a radiator ticking and snow dripping from my boots, I sit across from Ms. Lauren and lay out the messages. Soulmate in sentence 2 pet names at midnight. The ask for my address. She names it without flinching. Love bombing. Then she asks for the old patterns, the ones from my marriage, that taught my body to accept crumbs. I say the quiet words out loud, gaslighting, over-explaining, apologizing to keep the peace. She draws 2 columns and has me speak as 2 parts of me, peacekeeper and protector. When I falter, she waits. When I try to defend him, she tilts her head. I plant both feet and say the words steady. I won't settle. I deserve better. I am enough. She nods once and hands me a clean sheet. Write 1 sentence you believe in under oath. I write, I own my story, then feed the old draft into a shredder and watch it ribbon apart. We script 3 factual lines for tomorrow and practice breathing between them. In the hallway, I press my palm flat to the cool wall until the tremor in my hand stops. Those 3 lines sit in my coat pocket like smooth stones. At the Hennepin County Courthouse just after 8, security trays clatter and elevators hiss, and I find Ms. Reyes by the brass directory. We take a bench outside courtroom 6. Across the hall, he stands with folded arms and a tie I picked out once upon a time. I keep my eyes on the clock and the blue folder with my name on it. When the clerk calls, we step in. The room smells like paper and winter coats. I raise my right hand. My voice stays level as I give facts, only dates, amounts, messages I printed and numbered. He starts to talk over me. The judge lifts a hand. I continue. Ms. Rhea slides Exhibits A through D across the rail, and the stamp lands hard on each page. Temporary orders granted, separate utilities, low contact for logistics only. No surprise pickups. I sign where the tabs tell me. He signs 2 pen scratching faster than mine. The bailiff opens the door, and a slice of cold air slips in. Outside on the marble I lean on the railing and breathe, until the heat leaves my cheeks. My phone buzzes in my coat. I let it. I am not rushing to answer. My phone buzzed in my coat outside the courtroom, and I let it. By late afternoon, I am in my kitchen on the south side of Minneapolis, January, light thin on the tulips by the sink alone, while my daughter stays at practice. I lay the blue court folder on the table and read our 3 lines again, the ones we practiced the ink steady as rails. The kettle ticks toward a boil. I unlatch the window an inch and let cold air rinse the room. I take his contact out of favorites and move the thread into an archive named Logistics. I write tonight's plan on a sticky note and mean it dinner homework early bed no responses after 9. The kettle sings. I pour breathe and count from 4 to 8 until my jaw loosens. When the porch camera pings, I watch the empty step and choose stillness. One clean act anchors it. I set the phone on top of the fridge mute out of reach. In that quiet, my own voice shows up low and clear. It wants a room. It wants a place to live that isn't a text thread or a court form. I look at the hall closet and leave the door ajar. That door stays ajar until morning. In the hall closet at 9, with coats brushing my shoulders and a wool blanket under my feet, I sit on a storage bin, with my laptop balanced on my knees. My daughter studies across the hall, with headphones on her pencil, tapping a steady beat. I open a free app title, a new file, messy middle, and press record. I speak the plain spine of it. The birthday sentence, the paper trail, the 3 lines that got signed yesterday. The list on my fridge that says what I will and will not accept. I keep my voice low and level, like talking to a friend at the kitchen table after the house goes quiet. No names. No heat. Just the truth, and a few hard-earned shortcuts that saved me from bleeding out by text. When I finish, I add a simple description and hit publish. The bar crawls, then clears. I slide the laptop onto the shoe rack and sit still with my hands open. By lunch, a stranger emails thank you for saying it out loud. By evening, the counter shows numbers I did not expect. I whisper the title to myself again and feel it fit. Messy Middle. Tomorrow, I will tell the part about boundaries. Those numbers on my episode surprised me by evening, and I kept my promise to talk about boundaries next. At the Lake Street Community Center at 7 under humming lights, with Nancy Lorna and a circle of women in metal chairs, I set a box of index cards by a dented coffee urn and say it plain. Facts only, no heat. 3 lines that kept me upright this month. We pass Sharpies and write what we will not trade away. No surprise pickups. Daylight meetings. Respect my time. A woman named Dee whispers that her voice shakes when she says no. I hand her a card and a thick black marker. She grips it, writes no as a full sentence, and underlines the word twice. Another woman tears up a draft apology she kept in her purse and drops the strips into the trash. We clap one clean clap together, sharp and bright. Nancy asks for 1 green flag each. I say shows up and keeps plans. Lorna says consistent kindness. Dee says I matter. After we stack chairs, Nancy walks me to the door and mentions a friend she trusts good work, decent man, slow pace. I tell her to give him my first rule. Daylight only. Daylight only was the rule Nancy sent with my number, and by Friday a simple text lands with a name and nothing slick. The first coffee man never sent a plan. Ben did. On Sunday at 2 at a bookshop cafe on Lyndale, I sit at a small table near the window with a peppermint tea, and Ben arrives with wet boots and a quiet hello. He sets his phone face down and stays across from me, not close, not far. He asks about my week and listens with both eyes. I ask what his best friend would say about him. He laughs once, says, steady but stubborn, and adds that he has been to therapy, and still goes when life tilts. I ask about money. He answers, without the wince. When he talks about his grown son, he does not audition for sympathy. We test logistics, daylight, public place, 1 hour. He nods and asks permission to walk next weekend by the river path if the weather holds. I say send a plan, then watch to see if he does. That night at 8, a calm text arrives with a time, a place, and a rain plan. I answer with one line. Yes, 1 hour. My guard stays up, but my pulse stays even. My pulse stayed even after that 1 hour, and I wanted to see if steadiness could last. Along the river path near St. Anthony on Saturday morning, benches wet from melt and gulls loud over the falls. I meet Ben with coffee lids clicking in our hands. He walks on the curbside and keeps half a step behind until I match him. When I ask about debt, he answers clean and adds how he budgets when things tighten. At a crosswalk, he waits for the light without performative flourish, then asks what apology looks like to me. I say it sounds like repair, not poetry. He nods and tells me the last time he was wrong. He does not rush jokes to dodge the weight. We stop for a minute where the railing frosts my palm, and he offers his gloves, then lets me refuse without taking offense. I ask about therapy. He says yes, and not just when he is in trouble. We circle back with time to spare. At minute 50, he checks the clock and says we can end on time. I say slow is the plan. He smiles and keeps the pace I set. Chemistry feels warm. Compatibility feels safe. Safe held until a holiday email landed like a spark on dry grass. In my kitchen on Sunday noon, casserole warming for my daughter, and a wind chime fussing at the door. I open a subject line packed with blame, and a deadline that was never agreed. My throat tightens once. I screenshot the message, forward it to Ms. Reyes, with the word received, and the timestamp, then moved the thread into a folder, labeled logistics. No replied to him. I close the laptop, slide the phone into the drawer, and hear the wooden runner thud as it shuts. By text, Ben sends a short line that does not rescue me or advise me. Here, if you want to talk proud of your boundaries. I leave it unread for an hour and lace my boots. Around Lake Harriet, the ice hisses at the shore, and a dog shakes water all over my jeans. I count my breaths to 4 and then to 8, until my jaw loosens. Back home I make tea and set a timer on the stove for 2 days, the quiet kind that counts down in red. I choose not to feed the fire. If the email was bait, the hook stays empty. That quiet 2-day timer I set kept counting behind everything. By Saturday night in my living room, Minneapolis winter pressing the glass, and a single lamp throwing a warm circle, I cook for one, and plate it like it matters. The fork clicks against the dish. I pour tea, not wine. My daughter is at a sleepover. The house has that rare, wide stillness. I open a favorite old movie and knit 3 rows of a scarf I started in another life. When my phone lights up in the kitchen, I leave it face down and keep the thread between my fingers. I set a second plate on the counter out of habit, then slide it back into the cabinet and feel the small victory in that simple motion. Before bed, I twist the deadbolt, lay my keys in a bowl, and write one short line on an index card for the nightstand. Sleep is safety. I wash the dish by hand, just to hear the clean ring when it sets on the rack. In the mirror, I meet my own eyes, and they do not flinch. I turn off the lamp and laugh once in the dark for no reason at all. That clear, easy laugh follows me into Monday. At a small Italian place on Hennepin, at 6 chatter and clink around us. I sit across from Ben with a bowl of soup and a cloth napkin folded neat. He talks about spring and says we could book a weekend up in Duluth. Just a snow rush his treat. My chest tightens and then steadies. I set my spoon down and rest my palm on the table. I tell him the truth as plain as bread. I like our walks. I like our hour. I am not booking overnights. He starts to counter with comfort and plans words stacking too fast. I lift a finger once, slow, or not at all. The table holds the pause. He leans back. He breathes. He says he can match my pace or step aside. I nod and choose my pace out loud. 1 hour daylight public places. He says he hears me. I ask him to show me in the calendar. Not a promise. He opens his phone, types a time for next Saturday, and turns the screen so I can see. I confirm with one word. Yes. I leave a tip and fold the napkin over the check. That yes on the calendar steadied my breath, and I wanted more of that steady. Sunday morning on Grand Avenue heat, humming in a tiny studio, I unroll a mat in the back row and move slow with women my age. My phone stays zipped in my bag. After class, I walk to the co-op, pick up tulips and a loaf still warm in its paper, and call my mother on the way home. We talk about recipes and taxes and the way February light slides across a kitchen like forgiveness. At the table, I open my laptop and sketch a weekend plan with my daughter that costs almost nothing. Drive a north cheap motel by the lake, a museum with free entry. I book it and feel the click land in my chest. By afternoon, I open the mic again in my hall closet, title the next episode Green Flags Only, and speak what I know. Show up, keep plans, be kind, tell the truth. Even when it dents pride, I hit publish and watch it clear. The tulips drink. The house smells like clean bread. My inbox pings with a message from a woman in Ohio who says my voice kept her steady at midnight. Tonight, I keep something for myself. I pull a blank card and start a letter to the future me. I keep that promise after dishes. At my bedroom desk, a 10 window cracked an inch, and the radiator hissing, I sit alone with a blue pen and write Dear Maggie 1 year from now. The page takes what I could not say out loud last spring. If love finds you, let it respect your pace, your calendar, your kitchen table. If not, let quiet be a room you chose, not a sentence you serve. I add a line I wish someone had handed me at 25. You are not a consolation prize. I fold the note and slide it between 2 pages of a book I reach for when my hands shake. Then I pull a small jewelry box from the dresser and unwrap the band I wore for half my life. I press it into the velvet, close the lid, until the latch clicks and set it high in the closet where I do not trip over it anymore. I take out my phone, remove his name from speed dial, and put mine at the top. I lift the window another inch, and the curtain breathes once. Down the hall, my daughter coughs in her sleep and settles. I switch off the lamp and stand in the doorway a long time, watching the dark hold its shape. The room feels open, not empty. Open, not empty, stayed with me at breakfast. At the fridge, I tape a fresh card and read it out loud. Oxygen mask first. Green flags only keep the peace you paid for. 3 lessons, clean and simple. First, safety isn't selfish. It's love in plain clothes. Keep the lights on, keep a paper trail, keep your body and money safe. Second, love that's real, feels consistent. Daylight plans kept questions answered. Red flags don't turn green if you squint. Third worth is a daily choice. I won't settle. I own my story. I take up space at my table and in my calendar. I slide the old apology drafts into the trash and press the lid down once. I text my daughter good luck on the quiz and add a heart she can pocket. I open the mic and speak what I wish someone had told me at 25 paces. Power boundaries are a love language. Single can be joy, not punishment. If love returns, it meets my non-negotiables, or it doesn't come in. I'll end where I began, but steadier, true love, again, or true self. First, tell me your 3 lines. What keeps you safe, seen, and proud to be you? All right. Let May be painfully clear. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was a pattern, and it showed up fast. A stranger asked you something stupid at a bar, you said no, and Mark turned you from wife to suspect. That's red flag number 1, suspicion, without proof. Then he started the classic toxic combo, moving the goalpost, demanding the truth after you already gave it, and treating your calm as evidence. That's not concern. That's control wearing a suit. And when someone blocks the exit, when your I need air becomes why are you running, that's not love. That's a power test. The moment he rewrote the story, you pushed me, you escalated. That's gaslighting 1. Oh, 1. Not loud, not messy, just cold. Tidy cruelty. So here's your takeaway straight up. Your no is a full sentence. You don't audition for basic respect. You don't negotiate reality with someone who benefits from you doubting yourself. If you're hearing this and your stomach drops, trust that. Red flags don't get greener with time. To the villain of this story, karma doesn't need your permission. It just keeps receipts. And to you, sweetheart, this debt May clears it. But remember, these eyes are always watching. Don't let your name end up on May's blacklist next episode. Hit subscribe, because around here, justice doesn't show up late. It shows up ready. A final note from the library. While these stories find their roots in the halls of Reddit, they are artistically reimagined to speak to the heart. Any likeness to reality is mere coincidence. The emotions, however, are very real. Walk with empathy, and let justice lead the way. Thank you for watching.